switch it up.
There we are. Yes. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Sports Spotlight. I'm your host, Isman. With me on the airwaves of Radio Azad, I've got Manny, I've got Shep, and we've got World Cup fever, baby. How you guys doing? Welcome back.
Doing good, man. Thanks for having us.
All right. All right. So, folks, I got to say, I am excited about this World Cup, the knockout stage, because I believe this is the first time. I know it's been in a long time. I'm virtually certain it is for the first time. 9 African nations have advanced to the knockout stage. We are seeing a lot of really high quality play. It just underscores the growing quality and potential of some of these African nations. We've got South Africa, Ivory Coast, Cabo Verde. We talked about. We kind of touched on that, but the DR Congo qualified for the knockouts for the first time in their history. All of these: South Africa, Ivory Coast, Cabo Verde, and DR Congo. All 4 of these. Cabo Verde became the first World Cup debutant since 2010 to make the knockout stages in their very first tournament. I mean, that's just great stuff. Um, what was it? I think last year. I was about to say last year. Last time, 2022, only Senegal and Morocco made it to the knockouts from the African continent. So, great improvement from the continent as a whole. What are you seeing out of these teams that have made it? Is Morocco the creme de la creme, if you will, of these 9 nations?
I personally would think so, yes. I mean, sorry, Chef. I was going to say, yeah, I would think so. I mean, Morocco went as far as, what, 4th last World Cup?
Yeah, they were in the semis last time.
Yep. But
favorite from Africa.
yeah, I think, Manny, your connection might be fading a little bit. I think you faded out there. But yeah, look, Morocco looks really good. And in that bracket, so look, they've got Netherlands right off the bat.
That's a tough game.
It's yeah, exactly. I mean, I would not be shocked if Morocco loses that game right there.
No, I mean the Dutch are really good, and that I kind of wish this wasn't around the 32 game.
Mm-hmm.
That's more of a around a 16 or even a quarterfinal matchup for me.
Yep.
But so I think that the winner of that game is going to be the team that plays France in the quarters.
Wow.
And either one of those 2 teams could look on their day. This is the weird thing. Soccer is such a low scoring sport, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the variance can have a bigger impact on soccer than a lot of other sports. I could see one of those 2 teams upsetting France, despite my rather strident advocacy for France being the best team. Soccer being what it is, I mean, either the Dutch or Morocco, because Morocco outplayed Brazil in that draw.
Yeah.
Okay, they fell victim to Brazil's ability to finish. But yeah, Morocco is probably the best of the African teams. But I think you could have 5 African teams advance to the round of 16, which would be unheard of for that confederation.
So I take it you're thinking South Africa over Canada?
So that one's iffy for me.
Okay.
But I think that they can win that game. I think that's a 50-50 game.
Wow.
That's the game today, right? Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, that's the game this afternoon.
I guess we'll find out soon. So who else are you thinking? Ivory Coast has
I think Ivory Coast is got a good shot against Norway. I really like Norway with Udegaard and Holland, but I don't think their defense is particularly great. Ivory Coast isn't a great team, but they're a good team. So I think that's a 50-50 type of game.
Yeah. Now, Ghana, as much as I like I like an underdog story, but they're not going to beat. They're not beating Colombia,
No, I don't
Probably
see
not.
that either.
right? Senegal, Belgium, Ghana, Colombia. I don't see that happening.
Belgium has not been great this World Cup. They're on the back end of the talent cycle.
Hmm.
I think that they're probably better than Senegal. But don't be shocked if Senegal wins this game.
Really?
Yeah, like the only games in the round of 32 where I would just be floored if an African team won would be Cape Verde over Argentina. Right?
That would be an upset of epic proportions.
I would be really surprised if the DRC beat England. But those are the only two where I would be like, yeah, I did not think that was possible. Ghana will most likely lose to Colombia because Colombia is so good. But Ghana's going to put 10 guys behind the ball, all right? And they're going to make it really hard for Colombia to break them down. If Colombia gets an early goal, they may win in a rout because I don't think Ghana's comfortable making it an up and down the field game. But it's going to be like a root canal for Colombia to score in that game.
All right. The one that I'm really, really interested in, Egypt and Australia.
Yeah, I was gonna add to that one. I think that one is a toss-up for me. Australia has looked good at times, but at times they've looked just subpar to me. So Egypt, definitely outside of Morocco, I believe has a chance to come out of the round of 32 if they play well against Australia here.
Yeah, I expect them to. And wouldn't it be amazing if Egypt wins and Cabo Verde somehow miraculously is able to upset Argentina and meet in the round of 16 for one of those teams to advance to the quarters? I mean, it's just the way this bracket is set up. If these upsets happen now, Ghana, I don't see them beating Colombia. And frankly, I don't really see Cabo Verde beating Argentina, but that's just my love for the underdog, the Cinderella story. I'm hoping somehow they can pull that off and make a run because
Did you watch the U.S. Australia game?
I did not.
Australia plays a more robust form of the game. I'll be diplomatic about it. They're pretty aggressive. Like physically, so if Egypt can deal with that, I think that they've got more skill than Australia. So
they're the Bill Belichick defense of the early 2000s.
Yeah,
just doing as much as you can.
I was sitting there watching our game against Australia, going, "Ref, get the cards out of your pocket, man." So if the ref lets them play, I think Australia could win that game. But if he keeps it tight and calls them on their, we'll call them on their style, as it were, I think Egypt will kind of walk through the game.
Okay, all right. I was just excited to see the representation from the African continent here, and
9 out of 10 countries, man. That's really impressive.
That's very, very impressive. So looking forward to some exciting matches. All right, I've talked about a lot of these teams. What we really haven't touched on is the top right of the bracket. We'll get to that in a second. Real quick, I got to tell our listeners about something that is actually going on today, starting in just a little bit, just a few minutes. So Nadia Chotani returns to Dallas this summer with her most extensive collection yet. The season introduces a fresh, modern design direction, featuring an even larger selection of meticulously handcrafted pieces than ever before. Discover exquisite contemporary bridal sets, real gemstone pendant sets, vibrant multicolored polki creations, zircon sets, necklace sets, balis, jhumkas, tops, rings, and timeless classics designed to be treasured for years to come. It's going to be going on coming up in just a few minutes, 13 minutes, 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. today at the Sandman Signature Hotel in Plano. For more information, you can go to nadiachotani.com or find her on Facebook. Also, along with her, Bahaj M. Khan is bringing his newest collection to the US, featuring an exciting mix of contemporary print and elegant formal wear. The collection includes elegant uh, print wear, formal wear, statements, kaftans, solid raw silk outfits, trendy printed ensembles, short shirts, and much, much more. Delicately embellished Kamdani pieces also. Designed with modern silhouettes and timeless craftsmanship, these outfits are perfect for summer gatherings, fall festivals, weddings, and special occasions. You can check them out at www.wahajamkhan.com. Again, both of these things going on together today at the Sandman Signature Hotel in Plano, 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. All right, let's talk about that quarter of the bracket. We got, I kind of touched on it when I mentioned DR Congo facing England. Do you guys, how do you see this playing out? I mean, English team is one of the favorites, at least coming into this World Cup. Really, really strong team. Any chance for Congo to pull off an upset here?
I mean, I think England is favored, right? I mean, most analysts, are thinking at least a 2-goal win, 3-1 or 4-2, 4-1 or something. So they're definitely the better team on paper, right? And especially with Harry Kane facilitating and getting some of those headers in, and they've got Jude as well. I personally think England has a better shot, but Congo is a team that's worthy of being here. If they get on the counter attack, their defense is really good. If they're able to get a goal in and put England behind early, it'll be interesting to see. But I definitely think England the 3 Lions are going to be coming out of this matchup.
Yeah, look, Congo can get England on the counter. Okay, England's shown a little bit of vulnerability, more so than I think most England fans would want to have seen to counterattacks in the group stage. So, and that's how the Congo is going to attack them. But yeah, the England team is really good. My biggest concern for them in this game is the impact of most of their players having been in the Premier League and just the minutes they've got on their legs this year. The Premier League is just a war of attrition, and they rested Declan Rice in the last game. They're having to really manage Bukayo Saka's minutes. A lot of the guys look a little leggy, because they just run so much in their domestic league that I think England they've got some vulnerabilities. Even though I think that if this was a game played like in the middle of the year, like this was like the last World Cup, like they played it in the middle of the season, I would fancy England's chances a lot more.
No, I like how you dropped in a little fancy there, sounding English.
I read a lot of British coverage of the game, and their vocabulary creeps in sometimes.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, Congo has the ability to slow down the game, though, which is against what England like they did against Portugal, where they had the draw there. So if they slow it down and make it a defensive a game where they have a chance on some corners and other set pieces to score, it'll take England out of their game. They like to run fast and attack. So we'll see. We'll see if they employ the same sort of strategy they did against Portugal. They have a chance. Otherwise, you're right. England has far too many stars and high expectations for them to move on from this round.
Yeah. All right. What is between the middle matches? We'll get to Brazil, Japan in a second. What is the weaker of these matchups between Norway and Ivory Coast and Mexico and Ecuador?
What do you mean weaker?
Like which one is a gimme here? Is there a gimme?
Well, neither one. No, I mean, no, neither one's a gimme. Mexico's probably better than Ecuador, and they're playing in Mexico City.
Mhm.
which is going to be just so. What Mexico has to be in guard about is one, Ecuador is pretty good on defense, and they can hit you in the counter. Really, I mean, like they're really good at that, and they're used to playing teams that dominate the ball, like Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, and the South American Federation. But I think that Mexico has to worry about the pressure the Mexican team's going to feel. That's one thing we haven't talked about is the pressure these guys feel for the national teams. Mind you, Uruguay went out in the group stage, and their federation just made their players fly home on their own dime rather than using the charter plane that they had for them.
I saw that. That was crazy.
and like literally, so they were like, "You failed your country. You get your own ticket out of the U.S." Just chew on that for a second. But in Mexico, the pressure those players are under for a domestic World Cup is unlike anything in American sport. No one feels pressure the way these guys do for their countries. And it's hard to describe because in professional sports in the U.S., it's about the team. Yeah, you've got, I'm not saying there's no pressure, but it's not like this. Okay? Like, this is the type of thing that is just, I mean, it's part of the drama of the World Cup. So I think Mexico's going to beat Ecuador. And they'll be really lucky to have that next game in Mexico City against most likely England. But I don't think they're going to make it past that way.
Huh.
And then the other one, Ivory Coast, Norway, is a contrast in styles. So I think Ivory Coast wins, but that should be a good game.
Yeah, so I was trying to lead you guys into that Mexico Ecuador match when I said which one's a gimme. To me, it feels like a gimme, but you've brought up a lot of very, very good points about the pressure and the pressure that gets to you. Shep, you and I have talked about it for decades now. The mental side of sports that often gets overlooked, definitely by the average sports fan. Right? It's not just the physical skill; it's the mental skill, the mental fortitude that's necessary. And like it or not, I mean, the World Cup is the biggest stage. This is where your mental fortitude is tested even more so than your physical abilities. So being able to live with that pressure in front of your home crowd, definitely, I think you bring up a very, very good point that's definitely gonna tilt it away from being a gimme and give Ecuador that edge. Like they're playing with house money right now, right? They're not supposed to win.
Yeah, and they only let up 2 goals in the group stage.
Mhm.
They're going to be hard to score on.
And Mexico,
they did just beat Germany.
Yeah, and Mexico gave up none. So yeah,
but Mexico had
they had South Africa, Korea,
to go through. And they got lucky against South Korea. South Korea should have scored against them more than a couple times.
Yep.
So,
but yeah, I think you guys have definitely dissuaded me from this notion that there's going to be a walkover for Mexico. But hey, this is what we were saying, right? At this point, even forget the next round of 16, but even at this stage, a round of 32 ain't no gimmies. Ain't no gimmies. You got to bring your A game.
The NFL or college football, right? Where you can look at playoff games and go, this team is so much better that I can't see a way for the other team to win.
Yep.
Because the sport's so different, right? There's so many different possessions in the way that American football is set up. It rewards favorites in a way. In soccer it's a different game.
Yep. All right. Let's talk about the game today. We kind of touched on it. Only one game.
Brazil, Japan.
Today, South Africa, Canada.
No,
I'm sorry. Yeah. So, so is it not as much of a gimme? I thought Brazil, Japan. Yeah, you're right. I did kind of skip on that. I'm looking at the time, but yeah, let's talk about Brazil, Japan. Do you guys see a path forward for Japan to upset Brazil here?
And they did play. I was looking at some lineup. they played a friendly back last year, 2025, and Japan beat Brazil 3-2. Now, granted, not all every single star that's in the World Cup was there, but they had pretty much similar rosters. So anything's possible. I mean, Japan is certainly one of the teams that has a very unique style. I mean, they have a good defense, but I love the way they have their offensive playmaking as well. The team plays really good together, and it'll be definitely an interesting game. I don't know if you guys know this, but in Brazil, there's a lot of people of Japanese descent too. So there'll be a lot of folks that'll have some really shifting loyalties between the match. But they won last year in a friendly, so anything's possible. But certainly, Brazil is a favored team to come out of there. So we'll see what happens in their next matchup here.
All right, Shep.
I think Brazil wins, but Brazil's midfield is really weak. It's the worst Brazilian midfield I've seen in my lifetime. And someone's going to exploit it, and it could be Japan. So Brazil's not going to be lifting the Jules Rimet Trophy.
Boy,
and
my
it's because of midfield.
My notions of how these matches were going to go have largely been reshaped by this conversation. So thank you for that insight. Definitely, I'm going to be watching these games with some of that in mind. So real quick, speaking of watching the games, game today, South Africa, Canada, 45 seconds, 15-second each. Predictions.
Manny, you first.
You know, this is where I think it's in Vancouver. Or is it Toronto? I can't remember where they're playing, but it's in Canada. They have the home field advantage. South Africa, they've looked good in a couple of their matches. They're keeping possession a lot. But I think Canada, they have a really good set corner pieces, and they've done really well to exploit that against some of the teams they've played. The Vegas likes Canada on this one, so I'm gonna go with Canada.
All right, going with the house. Going with the house.
Yeah.
I'm going with Canada because South Africa has moments of madness on defense where they're just completely disorganized, and I think Canada's pressing and counter-pressing is going to get them a goal or two.
All right, you heard it here, right here on the Sports Spotlight. One of the host nations is going to be moving on to the round of 16. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to wrap up some World Cup conversation and then dive into other areas of the sports world. I think there was something going on in the NBA during the week. We'll talk all about that right here on Radio Azad, the Sports Spotlight with Rizwan, with Shep and Manny.
You're listening to Radio Azad on
KDXX
107.9 FM.